This is the Average to Savage podcast with Paul Garino. Everyone and anyone, athletes, celebs, and much more.
Today's episode is powered by CBD for Life. Whichever CBD products you need and want, CBD for Life has them, from rubs to oils. I personally use the products from CBD for Life and I love them. Check them out at cbdforlife.us. Use the promo code SAVAGE20 for 20% off your purchase. Again, that's cbdforlife.us. What's up, everybody? I'm back for another episode of the Average Savage podcast. Our special guest today is Buster Scher. Buster, how's it going?
It's going good, man. Thank you for having me.
Yeah, appreciate you coming on. So let's just jump right into it. How'd you come up with Hoops Nation?
Hoops Nation came to be because I was a huge fantasy basketball fan, and I saw the coverage that fantasy football was getting, but I never saw any equivalent coverage on fantasy basketball. So naive 14, 15-year-old me decided that I was going to, do it if nobody else was. So I kind of started doing that, and then it merged into a couple different forms, originally back then on Facebook and on my own website. And then I decided to broaden it out to all levels of basketball and actually covering basketball. And that's kind of through a couple more iterations how Hoops Nation came to be.
Gotcha. And I did some research and I saw that you said you're a big baseball fan growing up. So why did you pick basketball over baseball? Like to start a page?
Yeah, I mean, I think, the older I got, the slower the game of baseball seemed to be. And basketball is just as you know, it's such an entertaining, quick pace, high intensity, 82 games, not 162, game with some of the coolest athletes in the world, some of the biggest brands, personal brands in the world. And, indoor during the winter. I just love basketball and everything about it, as well as the fact that the NBA is super accepting from a rights standpoint, which is how people like myself even exist.
Gotcha. Yeah, MLB, I know it had some issues at the beginning of the season and stuff like that. Actually, it was funny that you just said about the baseball just being slow, because I was just listening to a podcast. It was CC Sabathia's podcast, and he was just like, man, I like watching the games like from the dugout, but I just can't watch it on TV.
Yeah, it's too slow. It's brutal. It's a great game to go to, though. I love going to baseball games. I was just at a bunch of the Yankees playoff games. Unfortunate they didn't make it, but it's a great sport to go to. But then again, like, it's all right if you miss a couple innings. Which is sad.
Yeah.
Because in basketball, nobody has ever said, "Oh yeah, you missed a quarter, no problem." Like, missed the third quarter, missed the fourth quarter. Nobody ever says that. So, basketball definitely has the upper hand to baseball on that.
Yeah, for sure. Actually, I remember seeing something last year maybe, and I don't think they ever came through with it, but NBA was saying they were going to start selling like a package that you could just watch like the fourth quarter of a game.
Yeah, I think they do that, and they do it by half quarters too. I think by like 5-minute packages. So if you're like tuning in at the 5 minute and the fourth quarter mark, they're not going to make you pay for a full game, let alone a full quarter. You can pay for the final 5 minutes, which is smart.
Yeah,
smart.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, for sure. I mean, it's smart too if you're not, obviously you only have your local game, so that's another reason why people would get it too.
Yeah, for sure. Although League Pass is probably the investment to make at that point if you're paying for games.
Yeah, for sure. Now going back to the Hoops Nation, what year was it that you started it?
Well, I started a site called Fantasy Basketball Community in 2014. Then I started a site called All NBA All Day, and then I was helping out with a bunch of different sites. Then I decided I wanted to make All NBA All Day more similar to Hoops Nation in 2016, the end of 2016.
Gotcha. While doing the websites, were you writing like blogs and stuff?
Yeah, and I'm a terrible writer too. That's the funny part. Yeah, it was really bad, but slowly got better at it. That's all.
Gotcha. And how have you over the past, I guess 3, almost 4 years now? How have you been growing? How did you grow the Instagram page to almost 1 million followers now?
Yeah, so I really, like I said, I started out on Facebook, and then I went to Snapchat. So I built a Snapchat audience before I did Instagram, and I didn't even come to Instagram until end of 2017. And, it's just about consistency. Like, there are probably 23,000 posts on the page. So that's how, just real consistency over the course of years is how anybody builds anything,
Yeah, for sure. And how many like posts a day do you do? You set a number for yourself?
I mean, in an ideal world, I'm posting like 20 good posts a day, but let's say 23,000 divided by, I'm just doing the math real quick, 23,000 divided by 365 times 3, let's say. Yeah, I mean, it's a lot of posts. It's a lot of posts. Definitely. It's a lot of posts a day. Yeah.
Are you planning those out like the day before, or how do you go about planning them?
I mean, I'm on my phone probably 10 hours a day, and a lot of stuff comes through my phone, whether it's text messaging, DMs, or just seeing stuff, or having ideas for stuff, and then going out and getting a designer to create it for me, or creating it myself, or video editing for other projects, or doing ad campaigns. So, usually I never don't have enough. I'll just put it like that, just because of the amount of time I'm immersed in it,
Yeah. And like, what's your thoughts on like the Instagram, like changing their algorithm all the time?
It's always going to happen. I believe in Instagram in the long term, so I have no problem with it. It goes up and down. And for me, it all fluctuates around the NBA season, so it doesn't even, the effect of the algorithm has so much of a less significant impact on me and my pages than a far less significant impact on me and my pages than, just the fact that the NBA season is on or off, it has.
Yeah. So obviously it's hot when it's on.
Yes.
And then how old are you right now?
19. I just turned 19.
So you're 19. So what are your thoughts? I know you didn't go to college, right?
Correct.
So what's your thoughts on like college and kids not going to college?
Yeah, I think the only, like, a lot of people go to college because they don't know what they want to do, or they don't think they could, support themselves outside of it, which I understand, because there's like this preconceived notion that you can't work for a lot of people if you don't have a degree. And I get it. Like, you probably can't get a job most places you want to work without a degree unless you're working for yourself, which is very difficult to do and requires a lot of dedication, which it's impossible that everybody has that, right? But my true belief on college is if you're going to college to master a skill, that you need that skill for what you do, like being a doctor, a lawyer, whatever it is. Like, you need to know the law. You need to know where to put the knife in, like the person to perform the surgery accurately. Like, that's something you need to know. But to become a journalist, do you really have to sit down in a class and hear somebody lecture? Or should you be going to the games yourself and writing about them and meeting other people that do it professionally instead of people that teach it because they can't do it professionally? That's where I've always stood on it. So I'm not a believer in college for kids like myself, but for people that, really see the value, or obviously with like top Ivy League schools and whatnot, I get it. Like, the network is great and the experience is great, but for $70,000 a year, whatever you're paying, and you don't need that skill set to perform your job, you might as well, in my opinion, follow your passion and do it at a younger age when you have an advantage, because people are going to want to help you more because of your age. And they just, if you're doing something honestly and authentically, I think people like that. So that's really, really what it all comes down to. You just got to know yourself, though. At the end of the day, you got to know if you can do it or not.
Yeah, I mean, I went to college, and I'm on your side with people not going to college. Besides, I mean, if you want to be like a doctor or a lawyer, like you said, but I think it's the same thing. Like, actually, I was just talking to this kid that was making some graphics for me, and I'm just like, your graphics are good enough. I see another guy that does like the NBA ones. I'm like, yours are good or just as good as his or better. And I'm just like, he's talking about going to college, and I was just like, bro, you could just go get an internship somewhere and just work your way up from there, like, or something like that.
100%.
Freelance.
100%. If you have the talent, I believe in talent more than anything.
Exactly.
Because you can have a degree and be talentless.
Pretty much.
It's like you can have zero skills and a degree, and I will take the person with skills and no degree over you 1,000 out of 1,000 times in the long term.
Yeah, so it's funny too because one of my good friends is a nurse, and he saw I reposted like the Cristiano Ronaldo thing, like he made like I don't know $40 million on the field and like $43 million in social media, like doing that stuff, and then he was like, and now he like gets it because he was like, yo, that was like a dope post, blah blah blah, like because now they saw Cristiano Ronaldo like making money, and now he was like, oh yeah, like you could make some money off social media. I'm like, yeah, like I've been telling you that, but all right, whatever. I'll
Some
take
people
it.
are like that though. They need to see somebody that they know, like a public figure, and then it clicks. But like it. As far as the college thing goes, I mean, I think in general the landscape is shifting towards kind of how we think, but still is a long way to go.
Yeah, for sure. I think I don't know how many years it's going to be, but I think college is going to decrease like dramatically eventually.
Yeah, I think most of them are going to go out of business.
Yeah, it's going to be. Yeah, I don't know. It's going to. I think in like the next, I don't know, 20 to 50 years is going to be pretty interesting.
I'm pumped, bro, because like for me, I was the only person in my high school graduating class out of 550 not to go to college.
Okay.
I didn't even apply, so it's like I'm just so pumped for that to be happening and me to be right on that.
Wait, how many was it? What was the number again?
It's like 550.
And no, how many didn't go to, or how many went to college?
549.
Oh, that's crazy. and who's? Well, they're not really doing anything yet because they're just freshmen, right? For sophomores?
Yeah, they're sophomores now, but and a lot of them are mass majority of them are smarter than I am, but a lot of them spend their nights and weekends partying, whereas I don't drink, smoke, party, anything. So I mean, a lot of them are going to do great things, though, and I'm pumped to see and support that.
Nah, you made the right decision. I have to pay my student loans every month, and then I just think about, well, I made great friends, so that's how I have great connections from it. And that's
a great justification as well. Like the network at colleges, that's one of the reasons I would love to. Like that's why I like going to colleges, just to hang around friends and stuff.
Yeah, I was about to say you could just go there. You could just go. You could just go. You could just go to a college. Like I think you could probably sneak into classes and just be just to check them out. They won't know. They won't know.
What I like doing though is I was in New Orleans in I think it was February or March this year for Mardi Gras, and I went to a Tulane frat party, and I don't drink or anything, so I was like, all right, how do I have fun here? So I DJ'd this 300 person Tulane frat party. That's my kind of networking. So that was definitely funny.
There you go. Yeah, I mean, yeah, it's kind of crazy too, because I mean, the only thing that I think about now is like when I look at my story and see who's like on my personal page, and I'm just like, oh, like not that many people from home are checking my stuff out, but it's mostly like people that I went to college with. So then that's when I put it into perspective about like college. But still, overall, if I knew what I knew now, I probably wouldn't have went to college and just like done entrepreneurship stuff.
Super interesting. Yeah.
Pretty much. But I mean, it was also different. I'm 27, so in 2010, it was just different. It wasn't like
super different.
Social media wasn't like senior year. I think it was called like new digital marketing, like, and that was the social media class, and it was like a 7-year-old guy teaching it, and he had no idea what was going on.
I think if I was your age, I would have gone to college too, 100%.
Yeah.
There's no doubt. I would, if I was 3 years older than I am now, I would have gone to college.
Yeah. Yeah, I feel you. Yeah, it's crazy. I mean, that's why it's crazy too, because like even like, all right, this is gonna be even funnier to you, because like, so in college, when I was in college, we didn't even like DMs weren't even a thing yet. Like on Instagram, they didn't have
crazy.
DMs. So like it would have been reckless. Like college would have been reckless with DMs. Like I can't even imagine. Like Snapchat was like the big thing at like senior year, I think, for me.
Oh, you guys got Snapchat senior year?
Yeah, but I don't think you could message people off it. I think it was, or there wasn't stories either yet.
So what was it?
You just sent Snapchats back and forth to each other. That was the whole concept back then. You just send it to people.
So crazy, man.
Isn't that crazy? And there was no DMs on Instagram. I remember this girl told me about Instagram, and I was like, why the hell would I get an Instagram? I don't take pictures. Now I got like 13,000 pictures on my phone.
I remember when there were no videos on Instagram.
Yeah, that's it.
No videos, and even when they added videos, there was no such thing as views. It was just likes.
Yeah.
And now they've completely flipped that.
That's why it's good. They should do, actually, this could be a good marketing thing. I don't know why I just thought about it. They should do like an actual Throwback Thursday. Your phone gets updated and your Instagram is just like the old 2011 version.
I think there's too much money on the line from advertisers. I'm dead serious. I think there's too much money that would affect.
Yeah. True. Or something like, I don't know. You probably remember, like, I don't know how many months ago it was, and like Instagram was down for like, I don't know, like a majority of the day, and everyone was like freaking out. And then it happened again, and then I was like, I always tell people to like get on. You got to get on. You just got to just as a brand, you just should be on at least like Instagram, Twitter, and Facebook. That's what I meant.
Yeah, you've got to diversify. Yeah, always.
So that's why it was funny. I was like, Twitter is like hot right now because Instagram was down. So that's why it's always funny. But all right, back to So, what is your long-term goal? We're going deep now.
Long-term goal? It's just to build personal brand. Like you said, just diversify and build real depth with anybody that cares about who I am or what I do. And do right by all those people for the next couple of years, and then see where that leads. But really, just like creating my own stuff, like, you know, having fun, like the podcast that I host, and you know, the shows that I host, and the outlets that I run, and my socials. So really, just doing right by people. That's my goal.
All right. And when did you start your podcast?
We started in March. Yeah, we started in March. First one came out in April. It's every Tuesday. Yeah, it's been a lot of fun.
Gotcha. So being a podcaster myself, obviously, like, what's your process of like reaching out to people, doing preparing for the interview? Like,
so I'm super weird in that sense. I don't ever prepare, and if I know, like, I'll just ask people that I know personally, that I'm interested in, and think would be a good fit for kind of the vibe of the podcast. So I'll just ask them directly in person usually, and we'll set it up and do it. But I don't prep at all, because I want to come in. I'll think about them beforehand, always, like the night before on my way to the podcast, and right before we start, I'll be thinking about kind of the topics that I want to go through. But I think researching, it gets in the way, because then I'm thinking about what I'm going to hit and miss instead of actually being present. Yeah. And if you're present in an interview, it doesn't feel like an interview to the other person.
Yeah, definitely. I feel you. Yeah, I've done it a number of different ways like that. My first one, I did like literally nothing. And then, so actually most of the time when I don't write down questions, then they come out longer and better somehow. So that's kind of weird, but I don't know why. Maybe I just think of stuff more while I'm thinking while they're talking about the question.
Yeah, for sure. And everybody's process is different too. That's just mine, because I'm like super ADD and dyslexic and whatnot. So everything else just gets in my way.
Gotcha. Yeah. And even like one person's story that I knew like a lot about, like that was probably one of my worst shows, because like I was assuming in my head that people already knew the story and I wasn't asking the right questions. Right. So like
100%, that happens too.
Yeah, so that was a bummer on my end, I guess you'd say.
Gotcha. Yeah, that can happen. 100%. I feel that.
What about who has been your favorite guest so far?
Favorite guest? Yeah. Can't really pick favorites, but Victor Cruz is cool. And I really like the one that comes out next Tuesday with Chase B, Travis Scott's DJ. Yeah, Chase is the man. I've known Chase for a while, so it's really fun to finally get him in. But yeah, we were only planning on doing like 40 minutes, and then we ended up going 90, I think. It's like our second longest podcast, so it was a lot of fun. It covered a lot of ground on it. Yeah.
Yeah, it's dope. That's definitely different too. Travis Scott's DJ.
Yeah, super different. Not an athlete.
Yeah. No, I like that. You're trying to get like anybody, right? Like entrepreneurs, athletes, celebrities. Right?
Yep. Everybody. Gotcha. Everybody. Anybody has some sports connection, sports fandom that is interesting. Yeah. You know, even if not, like if they overcompensate on the interesting front, I'll accept it. Yeah, just like cool people, man. That's all.
Gotcha.
Good energy.
Yeah, for sure. What advice would you give to a young entrepreneur?
Advice to a young entrepreneur would be 14 to 18 are the best years in your life because you have no overhead for business. And you might have like other like time requirements, but I think there's a lot of that you can be more efficient on and allocate a lot more time to actually getting started in business and getting real experience. And that's when you can work for free because you have no overhead, depending on your situation. But most 14 to 18-year-olds have no overhead. So I really think that's just like, it's the time to double down instead of like think about the future, you know?
How'd this all come about for you at such a young age?
I just like doing it, that's all. That's the only way it could come about. If I didn't like doing it, I wouldn't have done it. But I enjoyed doing it. I still enjoy doing it. So it's really as simple as that, I think.
But I'm saying like most 18-year-olds aren't really thinking about like their future and like doing stuff that they actually like doing, and they're just well, I shouldn't even say playing video games anymore because now you can make a business off that. But they're not thinking like business mindset, I'd say. So like what was the spark that you were like, yo, I want to make this into a business and I want to pursue this and like not go to college and stuff like that?
I think, you know, just the size, just growing over time, you know, that kind of turned itself into a business. And then once I realized that it was serious, obviously filing all the legal corporation and whatnot.
Gotcha. You want to do some NBA predictions for the year?
For the year, I got the Clippers in the finals. I got Steph Curry winning MVP. I got the Knicks making the finals, and I have and yeah, that's that.
What about Rookie of the Year?
Rookie of the Year, I like Tyler Hero. I like Tyler a lot.
All right.
I like Tyler a lot. I think if Zion plays enough games, he'll win because he's a better player, but I like Tyler a lot.
What about Ja Morant?
I've never been so hot on Ja from like a superstar standpoint, but really good player. Yeah, he was great in college too. I'm super interested to see how he plays at the league level.
All right, I'll take it. All right, you ready for some fun questions? They're gonna go from average to savage.
Yeah, let's do it. I like that.
What's your favorite song right now?
I was just listening to Kanye's new album, Jesus is King.
Oh, it came out?
Yeah, it just came out last night.
Oh, shit.
Yes, I was just listening to it before this. So that's my favorite album right now. But favorite song overall, probably Stargazing by Travis.
All right, I like that.
It's a good song.
All right, top 5 favorite basketball players all time.
Top 5 favorite? Like growing up, for me, it was Danilo Gallinari, like David Lee, Carmelo Anthony, Tyson Chandler, Nate Robinson, all Knicks, always. I didn't like anybody else. And then overall, you know, like guys that I appreciate, obviously LeBron's at the top of the list.
Yeah.
KD, you know, Steph Curry changed the game. D Wade. You know, there's so many guys that I just appreciate. Kobe was one of my favorite players. Still, he's top 5 people I want on my podcast one day. So Kobe's up there.
Yeah, you just answered my next question, which was, what's your dream interview?
Obama.
All right.
Yeah, he's been my number one for 6 months. I think I have a master list of everyone that I want on, and then when I get them on, I just like delete it, and then the next person slides up in place. But Obama's been number one for a hot minute. Just want to talk hoops with him. That's all. Well, literally, that's all I would do. I would talk basketball with him for an hour, and that's it.
Is there any in particular question that you'd want to ask him?
Nope.
Nothing.
Just wanted to be super chill.
All
just
right.
talk hoops with the president. That's all.
I would definitely be listening to that one for sure.
It would be so insane. Yeah. One day it'll happen.
Yeah, it'll happen. This was which would you rather hit the lottery or the Knicks win the title this year?
That's a really good question. What's the lottery? Can I buy the team with the amount of money that I won?
I'll say you hit the lottery and you'll be set for life.
Damn, dog. I'm gonna say Knicks title.
Whoa. All right.
Yeah. If it was enough money to buy the Knicks, though, then I would say the money. But
yeah, it's too easy.
I'm gonna say Knicks title.
When I was coming up with that question, actually, I was thinking about saying you get to buy the Knicks or they win like 5 championships in the next like 10 years.
I'll take buy the Knicks over that. Because I think we'll win more than that. I know we'll win more than that. Yeah, it's an organizational thing, I think. Because once the Knicks organization is on point, every big free agent's going to come, and that sets it up for the next 100+ years.
All right. And if you weren't working in sports, what do you think you'd be doing?
I wanted to be, when I was super young, I wanted to be a marine biologist.
All right.
But then I found out you, A, definitely had to go to school, B, had to be smart, and C, most of it wasn't even like the way I was imagining marine biology was like snorkeling and scuba diving and just like it being awesome and like being on vacation. Whereas in reality, it's all like notes and writing and like writing papers and essays and trying to get funding and like that sucks. No, thank you.
Yeah, I know what you mean. When it's like,
I love snorkeling though. Snorkeling is dope. I still got to get scuba certification, although it's a little unsafe, but I want to do it one day.
Yeah, definitely. That'd definitely be dope. Well, appreciate you coming on, and can you let the people know where they can follow you at?
Yeah, you can follow me at Buster, or you can text me at 917-970-2200. You've never had a guest do that before, have you?
No, they gave their email, not their number, though.
Yeah, it's not. I mean, it's one of my numbers, but yeah. When you text it, you'll see what I'm talking about.
Is there any cool story about how you got the at Buster name?
Not really. I was at Buster Scher, and then the dude that had it hit me up. I assume. Well, I know now that he had hit up every Buster first name that was verified, and I was the first person to respond. And I was just like, "How much you want for it?" And he's like, $500. I was like, "All right, bet." And then we got it done.
Gotcha. Actually, yeah. One thing that I searched, like, just your name, just to see if it comes up, and like Buster only comes up pretty much most of the time. So are you trying to get that?
He's the number one search result.
Yeah.
Damn. Wait, I think if you type in on Google, people named. Let me find out. People named Buster. His real name isn't Buster though, which is why it's not cool.
Oh.
Yeah, if you Google people named Buster, and I come up above Buster Olney right now, only behind Buster Posey, the baseball player, and Buster Keaton, who I was named after. Fun fact. And yeah, but most of those guys' real names aren't Buster. Like Buster Posey's real name isn't Buster. Buster Keaton's real name isn't even Buster, and I was named after him. Buster Douglas isn't his. Buster Olney isn't his name. There are a lot of fake Busters out here.
So you're the real Buster. You're the real Buster.
Yeah, it's like an Eminem lyric. Yeah, I'm trying to eliminate all the fake Busters. I want people with their birth name as Buster Olney listed on Google.
Oh, yeah. Well, I had the real Buster on today, so like they could. I don't want any other Buster on my podcast now.
Yeah, there you go. If you can somehow get Buster Posey on or Buster Keaton, please do it.
All right. Well, again, I appreciate it, and yeah, definitely. Actually, I just listened to your Victor Cruz one today. Well, I'm halfway done, and then I'll be checking it out. So we'll stay in touch.
Sweet. Thank you, brother. Keep in touch.
Appreciate it. Once again, this episode was powered by CBD for Life. Check them out at cbdforlife.us and use the promo code SAVAGE20 for 20% off your entire purchase. cbdforlife.us. Check them out.